Go ahead and start recording. Alright, hi there. Welcome to my 6th lesson video. Today we're going to have a jungle Skarner game by IllusiveS at 1300 elo on the EU-NE side of things. Sorry I didn't do any videos the last couple days. I was kind of sick. My throat was all sore and thick, and you know, throats get like when you're getting sick where they just feel really gross, and it made talking just no fun at all. So I didn't feel like commentating games where I would just do nothing but talk for like 2 hours. So that's why I've been gone, but I'm feeling better, so I'm gonna get back to some games today. Maybe tomorrow, and definitely next week. I want to get through all the ones I've gotten submitted next week. So alright. So if we look at your jungle matchup, it's going to be Skarner against Warwick. So you're talking smack already. Warwick too easy. Well, whatever. But try not to talk smack to your opponents, because that's not cool. But you are right in a way. Warwick too easy. Like, Warwick's such a slow jungle. You should be able to counter jungle a lot of his stuff. It's weird that no one's helping you with like your wolves. Hopefully you get a decent leash at least. I haven't jungled Skarner, but you could explore different opening builds. I don't think Skarner has to go cloth 5 potions. I think Skarner can go boots and potions for sure. And if you were to start boots against Warwick, you could counter jungle him very aggressively. And it looks like you're going to be aggressive right now. I don't know if you're either going for a gank on bottom or looking to counter jungle like his double golems. So they didn't see you there. I don't think they saw you. I don't think they gave sight. Okay, well, Vayne said hello, Skarner. Oh, they had a ward. Okay, so that's fine. And kind of like I was saying, what you could have done also is you could have gone to counter jungle their double golems or even their race. Warwick's such a slow jungle. If he started blue, you could have done your wolves blue and immediately gone to his race and stole them, because Warwick's so slow and Skarner's so fast, and you should really take advantage of that. And one thing, like with the new jungle, you could have just taken your red right here. You're losing a lot of travel time going back just for the wolf camp, and then you're going to go back up here. You're just missing out on a lot of travel time doing that. Like, yeah, you're clearing your wolf spawn faster, but since like the camp's bank gold, I don't know if it was really worth like all that travel time you're wasting. So that's something to keep in mind. Like, you could have been done with red and double golems by now and already be ganking top. But that's okay. So the only thing when you're jungling, you always want to kind of be watching your lanes, see what's going on. None of the lanes have health bars, so it's going to be really hard for me to watch them. So I see you just peeked up top. That's good. You know, you want to get an idea of kind of how the HP is, how the lanes are going, what lanes you should end up helping, what lanes maybe are just so far behind you can't even gank them, because that can happen too when you're jungling. And then another thing is you want to look at, okay, what lanes can I actually gank? Like Vigar is going to be a pretty easy lane to gank. If you get like one good jungle gank on him, he's pretty much screwed. So you just saw Warwick try to gank middle. You're the same level as Warwick. If we look at CS, like you're only 3 CS ahead of Warwick. That's 1 camp. You should definitely be higher. Okay, so that was a pretty good gank, except you really didn't need to flash. Like, that flash was completely unnecessary. It didn't actually help you do anything. And in fact, you probably could have completely avoided that flash and still caught him if you went around this way. So, one thing I want to talk about when you're ganking, middle, sometimes you don't want to come out here. You can come around up here and come out from here. And the benefit to this is that when they see you and react to you, you're already this far in lane. You're almost to the middle of the lane. Versus when they see you coming out of here, you're right here. So you're closer to them once they see you. And you're behind them. So when they see you, you're right here. And if they're right here, they have to run like this. You have an intercept path right here. you're much closer than if you come out of these bushes. So it's a lot better to loop around when you gank. Oh, sorry, I missed down there because I was too busy talking, but that looked like a really good gank. But those turret dive might be a little too much because you see the TP coming, and you're gonna die because you're just too greedy. You had double buffs, so it's a greedy play to make when you have. Well, maybe your blue buff was worn out. You definitely had your red buff. You gotta say that it's worth it in chat because that definitely makes it worth it. But I don't know if that was worth it, honestly. It's hard to say because you gave up your red buff. Like, normally, like, a kill for a kill might be an okay trade. But since you gave up your red buff, probably not. And see, Ashe might have lived if Maokai didn't have that red buff. It's hard to say. I mean, it's hard to say anything like in that situation, but just in general, you want to be a little conservative with your buffs, and you don't want to feed them by doing aggressive turret diving. Because Maokai is very slow to react to you on him. I don't know what he was doing, but you're probably going to pick up... Okay, you got your red buff back. Nice. Probably going to kill this Veigar, too. He shouldn't have flash, so... Oh, this Vayne out of nowhere. Well, this Vayne's dead. Their whole team's here! Alright, so it's quite the party middle. Nice work, though. This is what... Skarner is so strong, because he just doesn't die. You can just, like, fight people and not die. And, so this is one thing... Like, that's why I was saying earlier, how Warwick is kind of weak against Skarner. Because you could have been really aggressive with the counter jungling. Because if Warwick finds you in his jungle, he can't do anything about it. Like, you're so fast with, is it your E or your W? Yeah, your W that gives you move speed. Okay, so another thing when you're scaling up, like, you might as well get 1 point in E, because it's like a ranged nuke, and I've seen so many Skarners pick up kills with that E, just because of the range and the utility. And the heal's nice too. Like, 1 point in E, that 80 damage is going to be more damage than a point in like your Q or anything, or your W, or, well, your W is a shield, but generally it's a good idea to get 1 point in every ability because it provides you a lot of utility, and that first point in a skill gives you more than any other point in a skill. So you're off to a really good start in the jungle. You're in a really good position to carry this game for your team. You just have to keep it up. So you should be ganking a lane every time your ult's off cooldown. Skarner ult is so strong for ganks. And yeah, you should look... this lane right here, Ashe and Taric, is such a strong lane for you to gank. They have so much CC, it's going to be so easy to get good ganks. Your gank timing's a little off, though. You see that they're level 5. If you had just waited a little bit for them to be level 6, this gank would be super easy. But it looks like you're going to get it anyway. You left that Vayne kill, which was a mistake, because your Ashe didn't pick it up. I don't know if you were just trying to give your Ashe that kill, but that was a big mistake. Always kill steal and solo queue. Always do it. I don't know if you just thought your red buff would kill her and you got cocky because then Sona healed her, but you gotta watch that. And then once again, too aggressive turret diving. You gotta be conservative with those red buffs. Like, you just fed another red buff because you're too crazy with the turret dives. Both your deaths have been completely avoidable, and like on that play, if you didn't do that turret dive, you could have taken Dragon off that easy. So like that turret dive, it may have gotten you a kill, but it lost you. It gave them a kill, it gave them a red buff, and you lost Dragon because you could have gotten Dragon with that. So I think that dive was definitely a mistake. In general, diving for kills is just not worth it, especially when you're ahead like that. Because like I said, that was a Dragon that you just gave up. So just be careful with those really aggressive dives. In general, it's just not worth it. Alright, so being a good boy, feeding your mid your buff. Alright, so way too aggressive on this gank right here. You saw that like mid was missing. So one thing to note is that like Veigar has been bottom a lot. Veigar has been roaming bottom a lot. That's like the third or fourth time that he's been bottom. So You should be watching that, and you should be aware of that. So, like, you shouldn't be surprised that the Vigar was there. He's there all the time. I don't. Yeah, so they took that turret, which is fine. They probably should have taken Dragon, but they're not taking Dragon, I guess. So whatever. So one thing I want to talk about your ganks in general, though, every gank has just been like through the standard lane, which is always warded, pretty much bottom lane. So you just want to watch that. Okay, they're taking Dragon now. It's a mistake by them because you guys are all here and ready, and they're gonna get rolled here. Ashe doesn't have arrow, but it's okay. Good ult by you. You're gonna grab that Maokai in. Yeah, then you guys get a free Dragon. So that was silly of them. I don't know why they started trying to take that Dragon. Good play by you to rally your team to get the Dragon. I think it was you. Yeah, here they come by. Yeah, that's good. Good job rallying your team for that Dragon. That's the most important thing a jungler can do in solo queue is just completely control Dragon. If you do that, you're gonna win the win the game for your team. So Tarek's saying he denied his smite steal attempt. I don't know if he means like he stunned him. The only way he could have denied it is keeping him out of range, because you can smite through like everything but suppress, I think. I know you can smite through silence. I'm pretty sure you can smite through stuns. I think it's only suppress that you can't smite through. So that's why like Skarner can be really strong when it comes to like contested barons. Oh, this is just a really silly dive of theirs. So one thing I want to note there is you did it too, and so did your team. Though you focused the Warwick there, and the Vayne, like you were on the Warwick, but the Vayne was like 2 feet away from you. Easy kill if you wanted. If you just like walked 1 foot to start hitting the Vayne instead, you could have saved almost all that damage on you because she would have had to run away instead of hit you. But you're in a really good position to carry this game. I don't know if you said that this was a win for you or not, but I'm having a hard time imagining you losing this game at the moment. So we'll see what happens. I seen your comment. You said please ignore those 2 retarded tower dives. Yeah, I definitely mentioned those. But and so just watch your boss. Like the biggest problem with the first dive is you lost your buffs because of it. The biggest problem with your second dive is it was too greedy when you could have gotten Dragon. But you got the Dragon anyway because the enemy team didn't take it, so it's okay. So your ult's up, you should be looking to gank. It's pretty much how Skarner works. You're like, is my ult up? Okay, I'm gonna go gank. All your lanes are great to gank right now. Like when you're a jungler, you always want to look at lanes and like, is the opponent a gankable champion? Like some examples of champions that you can't really gank are like in Ahri post 6 because she has 3 flashes with her ult and a normal flash. Like you can't gank that. Some other examples. Oh wait, I thought I heard like the sound of her ult, but it didn't go. That was kind of weird. Some other examples of lanes that are really hard to gank are like LeBlanc's because of her double flash, her triple flash if she wants, like a Cassidon post 6. Cannon's a really hard lane to gank. Like these lanes are so hard to gank that in general it's just like a waste of your time to try to gank them. So you should just ignore them and really concentrate on other lanes. Yeah, Riven is also really hard to gank. So right now you're in here and your team's fighting the Vayne, which you guys split, and I think that you should. I think you made the wrong call, and you should have been going for the Vayne. You also, yeah, I don't know who you ulted, but like your team wasn't with you, and sometimes like you get tunnel vision in fights like that, especially in solo queue when your team will split. It's really easy to be like, okay, I'm going on these guys, and you just go on them, and you don't even look at what your team's doing. And you end up like dying, and then you look up and your team's not with you anymore. So just kind of always keep in tabs, especially when you're playing like a tanky initiator like Skarner. they should be following you, but if they're not, then you need to stay with them. So this is just like a general rule of solo queue that sometimes the right play is not what your team does, and in that case, like, the correct play is to do what your team does. Even if it's not the right play in general, you always just want to do what your team does, because 5 people doing like a suboptimal thing is better than, you know, 2 people doing the optimal choice and 3 people doing the suboptimal choice. You guys gotta stay together. So, and at this point, like, you're losing your advantage. You're not as far ahead as you were early game, so you're not that tanky right now. I mean, Skarner's always tanky, but you're not that tanky. I paused it somehow. You're really not that tanky, so you're gonna have to play like a little more carefully and a little less Rambo. And the big reason why you're behind is those crazy tower dives. Like, without those tower dives, you could have just kept jungling and gotten so ahead. But instead, Warwick's actually like way ahead of you in CS. And a lot of that's like too much roaming for failed ganks and not enough just sitting there and jungling. And those turret dives where you lost a lot of CS because you spent a lot of time dead. So, like, fast junglers like Skarner can farm the new jungle really, really fast. Like, well, okay, fast junglers are fast, guys. So, fast junglers like Skarner clear really fast, and they can farm a lot. Like, they can farm as much as a solo lane if you just sit in the jungle and farm up. So, pretty much like how I would jungle Skarner is, if your ult's up, go gank, and if it's not, just go jungle. Your team should not be forcing this dragon without you. Like, they don't have smite. Warwick's just gonna walk up and smite it. Oh, here he comes. No, he pussied out. Alright, so Warwick definitely could have gotten that, but your team's still going, well, 4v4 because Maokai's really far away. Morgana didn't have a very good ult there. Your team is splitting to chase this Vayne again. They're gonna kill her, but they're splitting really bad. Alright, so you're back in the fight. So ulting that Warwick I don't think was a good idea. You should be ulting this Veigar. Like, this Veigar is who you guys need to be taking care of. And now, see, this is another thing. You're split away from your team again. You're 3v1 while your team's 3v1 on Maokai. So you guys, like, both teams kind of split up and try to take their tanky guy. So, like, in that situation, back out, help your team take out Maokai, and then go back in. And so don't be using your ult on Warwick. Warwick's not that, like, useful in team fights once he uses his ult. I mean, he does some decent damage with his Q and stuff, but he's just a big tank that's going to soak up a bunch of damage. So I think that was a big mistake by you in that fight to ult the Warwick. Don't do that. You got to get to the Vayne or the Veigar. No one else really matters. If you haven't used your ult by the time the Veigar and Vayne die, then you've probably won the fight anyway. So, but yeah, like I was saying, when you're jungler, as I was saying earlier, you want to kind of check out lane matchups and get ready for figure out what lanes are good for you to gank and what lanes are bad for you to gank. Like, good lanes to gank is like Morgana. With the Skarner jungle, if your flash is up, you can just like flash grab Veigar and pull him away from his minions. And then just sit in front of Morgana, and Morgana gets an insta snare, and that's such a dead Veigar. Like, top lane's probably pretty hard for you to gank because Maokai's really tanky. Like, Wukong does a lot of damage, but Maokai is so tanky, it might be a hard gank. Bottom lane is a great lane for you to gank, though. With Ashe and Taric, that's so much CC that, like, I would just be ganking bottom all game. And one thing I want to talk about is, I mentioned this earlier, like, every gank you have is just come through the river. Come through the river. Like, middle lane, where I can ganking by going around like this, it gives people a lot less time to react. Alright, so you have ult up. You gotta get to these guys. I know you're scared of that stun, but okay, there you go. You got Vayne, but your team's not there. So, this is one thing I'm noticing in general with your play. You're tunnel visioning and you're not paying attention to the fight around you. Like, you probably shouldn't have gone in on that because it was, like, your team was kind of dead. It was like 4v3, and you ulted the Vayne and went in all crazy. So one thing when you're playing like a tank initiator champion like Skarner, you need to realize there's two ways you can play that champion. You can play it by really like initiating hard and going for the carries like Vayne and Vigar, or you can play it by peeling people off of your carries and protecting your carries. So you can help protect the Morgana and the Ashe. Use your pull to get people off the Ashe and such. And in this kind of game, since it seems like your team is really being pushed back by their tank line, that if you go Rembo and go to like their Vigar and Vayne, no one's able to follow up with you. So you kind of want to at this point like think about, okay, maybe I should switch up my playstyle in fights, and maybe I should focus more on protecting my Ashe and my Morgana. And another thing is like when you have an Ashe on your team is set for the late game. And unless you're getting really good arrows to initiate fights, you have to be careful fighting early game because Ashe is so much weaker than anyone. Like if you don't get a good arrow to initiate a fight, you just have to back. And just wait for the cooldown to try again. But some more gank paths. One of the most effective ganks, especially bot lane. So bot lane, like in the meta of carry and support, is almost always going to have like 100% uptime on their wards in the river. So one thing, like a lot of times the bottom lane on blue side will ward up a dragon, but they won't ward their own tri-bush. So one thing you could try is entering their jungle here at the Wraith camp, and then running down through here to the tri-bush and then ganking. Because if they just have this bush or over here, if this is all they have warded, then walking the long way around into this tri-bush and going down is really effective. And it's also a really good gank for middle to do, because middle can also do that. Alright, so we have an epic Baron standoff going on, but you guys don't have sight, so you guys have to be careful. So, you guys need to be really careful. Like, you're not that tanky, so you have to be careful about going in first. Like, ideally, I think you're going to want your Wukong to go in first, because he's way tankier than you are. Excuse me. And yeah, like I said, like, when you're going in and diving their carries, you're not getting anyone to follow up on you. And as a tank, that's pretty frustrating. But you have to look at, like, why that's happening. And why that's happening is because, like, Ashe and Morgana and everyone are getting really pushed back by Warwick and Maokai. So they can't do anything to help you get to that Vigar and that Vayne, and you're not doing enough damage. Oh, I don't know why Wukong didn't ult. Okay, there it is. I was going to say, Wukong has a perfect position to ult like everyone. Alright, so you kind of did what I was saying that fight. You saved Ashe from the Warwick, and that was really good. Like, having that focus, now Ashe is alive in this fight, and you guys should be able to clean this up and win this fight. So, Vigar is still just wrecking people, though. Like, you guys gotta get on that Vigar. So that was a really good, like, initiate by Wukong. He was slow in hitting his ult. I think if he had hit his ult faster, that fight would have gone even better. But you guys won a good fight and got a good dragon. And that kind of goes back to what I was saying, where you did a good job of protecting your Ashe and really getting that Warwick off of your Ashe. So. Excuse me. But back to Jungle Pass, another really good gank is you just sneak into the lane. Like, it's really effective top. You just ask them to push out a little bit. Like, with the creep wave where it is right now, you could just walk through the lane and get into that brush without them seeing. It's also really effective bottom lane if they don't have the lane brushes warded. Like, a lot of times bottom lane does, so you have to kind of communicate with your bot lane to find out where they have their wards, but it's a very effective gank if you can get in there without them seeing you. Then you just have your lane initiate a fight and go crazy. Alright, so that was a good coordinated gank by you guys. That's like a free kill on Vayne. You should immediately be looking at seeing if you can transition that advantage into a free Baron. They can definitely contest it 4v4, but if you're able... So, okay, so here's one thing. Like, you shouldn't have left top. Like, top was a free turret. This turret's so far, like, extended. They were slow getting there. I don't know why you guys are, like... You guys pushing mid is nice. Like, it's nice to get this turret. But, like, this turret's so easy. This would be such a free turret to go get right now. Alright, yeah, and you guys are going there now, but like it was a little slow if you guys just went there first. Actually, that Sona's way out of position. This is like a free kill on this Sona. But their team's coming, so yeah, just good. Yep, get the Sona, get the turret, and then run. And good, Wukong got top turret. So you guys got both of those turrets. That's a good play. So that's a good job and a good example of like turning an advantage into more advantages. You picked the Vayne, and because they didn't have Vayne, you took 2 turrets, and that's good play. So nice job there. So it looks like you're maybe building a Frozen Heart or Randuin's next. Anytime you're building like a tanky champion and you're going to build defenses, you kind of want to look at their team and look at, well, who's doing well. Their Vayne's 3 and 8. Their Vayne's really not doing much, and their Vayne is literally their only source of AD. So I wouldn't worry about building Frozen Heart right now. Like, their big problems are Veigar. He's doing big damage. Warwick's causing a lot of trouble, and pretty much all his damage is magic damage. Especially because he has Wit's End. Excuse me. Maokai is just annoying, but he's all magic damage, Sona's all magic damage. So I would focus on getting MR. Like, I think the reason why you're feeling so squishy is because you only have 95 MR, and you're focusing on armor right now. So I'd work on getting like a Banshee's Veil is really nice for being against Veigar, or a Force of Nature even. Force of Nature is just nice because of the move speed, especially on like someone like Skarner, but either one of those items would be good. So this is definitely a close game. And earlier I was saying like, okay, you're in a really good position to carry your team because you got really far ahead early, but you just threw that advantage down by you did a couple things. You had way too aggressive tower dives, which definitely cost you your lead, and you did like. You roam too much without having successful ganks. If you just bared down and farmed the hell out of your jungle, and just ganked when your ult was up and it was an easy gank, then you would have stayed really far ahead, and you probably could have out-farmed like their solo lanes. But you just kind of wandered too much without having successful ganks, and you just lost the big advantage that you had early. I think they might know you're there. No. Okay, so good grab on the Vayne, but your team's not following up. That was really bad of your Wukong and Taric. Like, okay, well, Vayne's might go down, so maybe. All right, well, you got the Sona and the Vayne. Okay. So that was a really good initiate by you, just grabbing that Vayne. If your team had followed up faster, like the Taric and Wukong just kind of sat there and were really, really slow to react. But if they were faster, like that fight would have gone so much better. I don't know what happened to your Ashe. Where is your Ashe? And your Morgana? I don't know what happened to your Morgana, but where is Ashe? I wonder if Ashe is dead and Lord of Replay is just bugged about it. Oh no, Ashe is right here. Weird. So yeah, I don't know what happened to your Ashe and Morgana in the fight. I was just watching you, but it seemed like she got really taken out by the Maokai and the Warwick. And that's the thing, like when you're playing an AD carry and their tank line is charging you, it's really hard to do much if your people are not protecting you. I don't really know why like Morgana and Ashe died to those two. It seems like they should be able to handle themselves, but it kind of goes back into when you're playing like a tanky initiator like Skarner. Do you focus more on protecting your carries or going for their carries? And you went for the Vayne, and as a result, like your Morgana and your Ashe died. So it's just really tough. Like it's really tough to make that decision. And I think you made the right one. Like getting that grab on Vayne was great, but the rest of your team wasn't really in position and didn't react fast enough, so it was bad. It was probably too aggressive turret diving. Like, instead of diving, so here's one thing. Instead of diving the Sona and Vayne and Vigar, like, you guys picked up that triple kill, no problem. But if you just backed out, turned on the other guys, you could have saved your Morgana and Ashe and won that fight easy. Once you force people really low health out of the fight, it's really not in your interest to go chase them if there's still a fight going on with your other teammates. Because, like, you've won by forcing them out of the fight. And if you chase them to kill them, you're leaving your teammates stranded, and that's why they died. And if you didn't chase and kill them, and you regrouped, and you killed them to save your Ashe and Morgana, and if you had saved both of them, then you would have, like, killed one person for 0. They would have been low health and had to back, and you probably could have taken Baron or something. At least controlled buffs, maybe, something like that. So just something to keep in mind, like, chasing people when they're too low health and they run away from the fight is normally not a good idea if your teammates are also fighting. So this kind of goes back just to the tunnel vision thing. And I have okay, this is a horrible mistake by Morgana. Like, there's no reason to be that pushed up as 3 people, and Ashe needs to just run. That was really bad. And it's really bad for them to be pushed up by themselves with the whole team MIA. But another thing is like, no one else on your team was doing anything. They weren't putting pressure anywhere. Like, they weren't putting pressure bottom. They were all just standing in the jungle, which you can't really do. Wukong shouldn't commit to that. Like, Wukong should just kind of like stand around and try to bait them into chasing him. He shouldn't like go in and all and commit to that. He just baited like your whole team. So, like, I know you're frustrated, but, like, don't say stuff like, now it's over. Because, I mean, it's not over. It's Baron, but it's not game. They're definitely going to get that Baron, but it's not over. And, like, it just doesn't help to ever say things like that, so... Yeah, we're gonna, like, I mean, that was definitely a bad play by the Morgana. I mean, it was bad, but... Like, your team also needs to put pressure elsewhere. Like, the reason why they could, like, send 5 people on that Morgana like that is because there's nothing else for them to do. Where else were they gonna go? Because everyone else on your team is just, like, goofing off in the jungle, so... Yeah, like, I don't think you should have gone Randuin's Omen at all this game. Like, you could have gone, like, Frozen Heart. Frozen Heart's really good against Vayne. Randuin's is good, too, don't get me wrong, but Frozen Heart would have been good. Probably just as good as Randuin's, but you definitely should have got Magic Resist before the Randuin's. Like, they only have one source of attack damage, and that's Vayne. And everyone else is doing magic damage, and the Vayne's not even doing much. Like, the Vayne is still 6'9", so she's picking up kills, but she's still behind. I don't know. Okay, this is a big mistake. You're initiating a 5v5 fight while they have Baron, and there's no reason to. And you got blown up so hard right there because you don't have Magic Resist. Yeah, so this is back to, like, no one's protecting Ashe. Ashe is 100% by herself that fight, and that's why she got so low. You guys are actually, like, doing pretty well for them having Baron. Pretty surprised. You guys need to get that Vigar down. He's a problem. But that was actually pretty good. Like, I would say that was still a mistake initiating that. Like, straight 5v5 while they have Baron. So risky. Like, you guys should not have come out ahead on that fight. I don't even know how you did. Like, their Vayne has horrible positioning. But it's okay. Yeah, I wouldn't have made that play. It turned out okay, but that's not a good play to make in general. Like, you don't want to initiate just a straight 5v5 with while they have Baron. And so if you had had a Banshee's Veil or a Fawn instead of this Randuin's, when you flash ultied in there, you probably would have lived, honestly. So just keep that in mind. Like, always look when you're playing a tank and you want to get tank items. Always really think about what item you need most. Like, you don't need to build to counter the 610 Vayne. You need to build to counter this 11-4 Vygar and this 7-3 Warwick, who's pretty much only going to be doing magic damage. Like, this Tarek is saying, whatever you do, don't attack Mao, but Maokai is doing a really good job of just focusing Ashe. Like, every fight, Maokai just runs and focuses Ashe and takes her out of the fight. Which is fine, because I mean, it's exactly what you're doing to their Vayne, so... What you guys... The difference is, like, Maokai is not dying, and you're dying. Because everyone on their team... If you notice, like, everyone on their team is around the Vayne, and, like, kills you when you go for her. And no one on your team is, like, saving the Ashe, so... Like, Ashe has Eye Edge and Phantom Dancer, she's gonna do decent damage. They're really tanky, though. Yeah, so you're saying MR I need now? And you've needed MR for a long time, but that's good that you're getting it. Witten's probably not bad. So one thing, like, when you look at EU games, you see a lot more Wit's End in general than you see in NA, and I think Wit's End is a really good item. I probably personally wouldn't have gone for a Wit's End in this situation. I think you just need to be, like, more tank. Like, in fights, you're not really getting to auto-attack all that much. I mean, it's pretty good MR for you, but, like, a Banshee's Veil is so good against Vygar. I would have definitely considered going at Banshees, so... You have to be a little careful this time, because you don't have the flash, so you can't flash all Vayne. Because that's really what won you the fight last time. So have to be a little careful about that. Excuse me. I'm trying to reset my sleep schedule. Lately I've been like nocturnal, where I go to bed at like 9 AM and sleep till like 5 PM. But I went to bed at like 9 AM and woke up, like forced myself to wake up at like 1 PM. So I'm pretty tired, but gonna try to slowly reset my sleep schedule. Yeah, so at this point, like, both teams, you don't really know which team is stronger. So you guys, both teams are playing like really safe right now, and that's fine because like the next team fight is gonna really determine the course of this game. So you guys have to be really careful since you don't know where they are. Like, I know you want to be in front because you're Skarner, but you should really be letting Wukong in front. He's still a lot tankier than you are. And like, since you don't have Banshees, you're still going to get caught by Vygar-san and stuff like that, but Wukong won't. Nope, so Baron's up, so... Whenever you're in this kind of position, where you're out of standoff for Baron, you always want to check like what the lanes are doing. So, alright, you guys are both standing off for the Baron. It's probably going to be a big fight. So you didn't get the grab off on Skarner. I think that was a... You definitely should have been able to get that grab off. And this is another thing, like, people are not protecting Ashe, so Ashe is dying every fight. But, I mean, you guys are also killing Vayne, so it's okay. As long as you guys are each killing each other's carries, then I guess that's fine. Oh wow, Vayne was still alive actually, but now she's dead, so it's okay. Okay, you guys are gonna clean this fight up. You guys should just immediately go to Baron after Sona. And, yep, go get it. So, I don't know if you're smart casting. What we just saw right there makes me think that maybe you're not smart casting. Because I think you definitely had the opportunity to ult that Vygar if you were either just reacted faster. Okay, your team needs to take Baron. Like, there's no reason not to take Baron right now. So this is the thing, like, in a close game like this, the choice here is take Inhib or take Baron. And in a close game like this, I'm always going to say take Baron because Like, Baron is gonna get taken eventually by either team. So when you take Baron, not only do you get the buff and the 300 gold, or whatever it is, not only... Okay, yeah, that 150 was for a turret. I was really confused for a second. So not only does your team get that 300 gold and above, but you deny it from the other team. So, like, as a net, it's like 600 gold a person, you can think of it. I mean, it's not really right to think of it like that, but it is like, a turret, they can't kill this turret. That's 150 gold only for your team. But this 300 gold can go either way. And, like, an inhibitor is important, but I think Baron's a lot more important. It's really easy to push. Like they have an exposed inhibitor and you guys have Baron buff, it's not a problem to get that inhib now. So that actually worked out really well how you did it. Like, Wukong pushed the turret down while you guys got Baron. No one died. Worked out well. Oh man. So Wukong he needs to get his Atmas. Where's his Atmas at? He's got like 5k health and no Atmas. There it is. There's the Atmas. Okay, so Wukong just got like a lot stronger. He's gonna be really scary right now. He was already scary before he got that last whisper. Yeah, sorry, like, my throat's still kind of messed up, so I'm sorry if I'm like making gross noises in the mic because I'm trying to deal with my throat, but good job stealing their blue buff. Oh, miss smite, that's good. They didn't steal it, so yeah, you guys should be aggressive. Like, oh man, they should be so dead right now. You guys have Baron buff. Where's the Ash arrow? Oh, why didn't Ash arrow? Oh, okay. I don't know why Ash didn't arrow there, but whatever. Vayne's alive, and you guys are not on her. Okay, so there are a lot of mistakes that fight. The first is, like, Ash should have arrowed that Vigar. The second is that, like, you guys tunnel vision again. You guys are on these guys. When Vayne is like raping your Morgana and then coming in and raping your whole team, you need to switch focus right there. Like, as soon as you kill that Vigar, you should be asking, okay, where's Vayne? And you gotta get to Vayne. Because Ashe was dead. So if Ashe is dead, like, you, in a team fight, your two jobs, like, first, you're gonna initiate with ultimate. You did a good job initiating with that Vigar. And then the second is you need to look at AD carries. And you're like, okay, I need to keep my AD carry alive or try to kill theirs. And ideally do both. Your Ashe is dead, so the only thing that matters is trying to kill their AD carry. Your team should have been together. Like, that was another thing. Your team was really split, which was bad, and that's why that's another reason you lost. But like, Ashe didn't arrow that whole fight. That's how bad that was. I don't know if she was just trying to chain your CC well and like not waste her arrow stun. But like, if she had just stunned the Vigar, he went to, like, she could have just stunned and crit him, and he would have died before getting off his stun, and she would have lived. Yeah, so Vayne's a problem now. Like, it doesn't matter how bad you shut down Vayne. When it gets to a 50-minute game, Vayne is going to be a huge problem. What the hell? Okay, Wukong sold his Atmas for a Thornmail. Like, I don't understand that. And once again, Vayne is their only source of AD, so, like, I really, really don't think that's a good move by Wukong. Like, he just lost a lot of AD. It's like 2% health, right? So he just lost, like, almost 100 AD. Yeah, he just lost 100 AD for 55 armor and the Thornmail passive, which, I mean, Vayne has Bloodthirster, so, like, she doesn't even care. She's just probably life-stealing for just as much as that's going to deal damage, so. That's a big mistake by the Wukong. He does not need that Thornmail, but. Oh man, this is a long game. I think they could have ended it with the win in the last fight, but they're playing safe because it is such a close game. Hi people in IRC. Why only 2 viewers? I don't know. I was getting like 30 viewers when I was doing this earlier in the week, but I stopped for a couple days because I was feeling sick. And I think that people just like don't know I'm doing it anymore. But it's okay. I'm hoping people will watch the VODs, so I don't really mind that I don't get a lot of live viewers. As long as people watch the VODs, I'm happy. And as long as the people that like submitted these replays find them helpful, I'm happy, and I'll keep doing it. I don't care. So yeah, I'm actually watching the IRC. I learned Shadespawn. Alright. Wow, you guys still had an outer turret up at 52 minutes? That's impressive. So just a little thing right now, like, you should walk into this brush right here while you're taking this red buff. Because for all you know, their whole team's waiting in that brush because you didn't check it. So you might as well just stand right there so they can't sneak up on you. Just a little bit. Ah yeah, 4 viewers now. Big monies. No. Yeah, so right now this game is like a massive boring stalemate because it's a 53-minute game. You guys know that like the next like team fight is probably going to lose the game or win the game depending on what side you're on. Baron just spawned, so like this Baron is really going to decide the game. If they get it, they're definitely going to win. If you guys get it, you might win, but since you have an inhibitor down, they might be able to hold you off too. So it's going to be interesting. You guys are at a really big disadvantage with this Baron because oh, you guys need to go. Like Warwick's going. He just smited too. I don't know if you saw that in the game, but like Warwick just smited, so this is completely stealable. Morgana didn't get it. Alright, so this is probably game right here. Losing that team fight. And so this is like, just, you guys were not in position for that Baron. You guys saw it there. And, you guys like saw it sitting there and you didn't react to take it as a team. Like, that's on you and it's on your team. And, that's definitely, like, and one thing, so in a game like this, if they're going to take that Baron, you need to decide, do we commit everything to try to stop them right here, stop them from getting the Baron, or do we let them get Baron and come back here? And in that situation, you're so late to respond to the Baron, like, you just have to go back and defend it. Like, you can't sacrifice yourself to go in there really late, hoping for a lucky Baron steal, because you're just going to lose the game if you do that. Like, you probably are going to lose anyway with that Baron buff. Like, if they're good, they're going to transition that Baron buff into a victory for them. But there's always the chance that you can hold them off. Versus if you go and fight on that late, like, you're just going to lose. Especially because you've lost, like, the last couple team fights, so. But, overall, like, it wasn't a bad game for you. You just have to be, like, you had such a huge advantage early that you didn't transition to bigger advantages, and that was your biggest mistake. Like, you had such a good lead early, but you threw it away by giving up 2 red buffs to turret dives, and losing an opportunity to take Dragon due to a turret dive, and also by itemizing wrong. You really needed MR because the Vayne was just a non-factor early game, and the Vigar, everyone else on their team did magic damage except Vayne, and Vayne was like, I don't know, like 2 and 6 at one point. And you were building armor, and you needed MR. So all of the mid-game team fights, you just blew up. You couldn't do much. All you did was you ran in and you blew up. So definitely work on really thinking about how you need to itemize defensive stats. I think if you had gone MR instead of that Randuin's, the mid-game fights would have gone a lot better for you and your team, and it might have turned the game around, but maybe not. Also work on tunnel vision and fighting, and like, it's always hard to make that decision of whether, as a tanky champion like Skarner, whether you really work on trying to stick and kill their AD carries or try to protect your AD carries. You probably made the right play in going after their carries more often than saving your Ashe. I don't think you could have done much against the Maokai and Warwick. I think they would have just ignored you and gone after Ashe anyway, but it's hard to say, so. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. So I'm going to go ahead and end the recording here.